Hello and good evening to you all. I hope you're able to hear me. I'm in the upstairs winter sitting room, as we call it, and I am delighted to be here. And I hope you've all had a wonderful day. And I hope the snow, if there has been any with you, hasn't affected you too much because I believe it's all been a bit of a storm in a teacup in most places. There is not much snow, but of course, the transport people have used this as an excuse to yet again let us all down. They always have an excuse. So, anyway, hello to all of you. There's lots of you coming in, and we have Nicole and someone who's pretending to be Sir Jimmy Savile. Obviously, they can't be Jimmy Savile given he's in a coffin, allegedly at 45 angles facing the sea, but he may have been moved. Kaz Williams, Susan Gent, Nicole, Jen Littlejohn, Paulie, Sue Amos, Melissa Neal, William Park. Hello to you all. Susie Ashenden and Busted, Mother Duck, and hello to all the others amongst you who are coming in thick and fast. I will begin by referencing you to a poll I have on my Twitter account. So here is the link. Oh, there is the link. Please go and join in with it. My Twitter poll asks the question: is it right that the convicted criminal fraudster Bernie Ecclestone, currently on a suspended sentence, is swanning around attending fancy parties in Mayfair with members of the Spice Girls? Surely someone convicted of a £400 million fraud should be treated as harshly as ordinary criminals. I added elsewhere that, if an old lady committed a crime of not paying her TV license, they would throw her in the jail, the clink. And this ridiculous man is going around partying with the Spice Girls and the husband of one of them, Mr. Christian Horner, who is involved in Formula One, and he's also been traveling to Brazil. Now, why is this man not tagged? Why is he not on a curfew? Why is he not in the clink? He had to pay a fine that took the total to £653 million. This little coffin dodging pest is an absolute disgrace. It is totally wrong that this man has got away with fraud. And he's laughing at you, the public, by going out to fancy parties at restaurants in Mayfair's Mount Street with the Spice Girls. He is giving one big up yours. Also there was Rod Stewart and Ronnie Wood and all sorts of others who joined in alongside him and Fabiana, the latest baby mother of one of his children. She's the only one that bothered to turn up to his trial. You note that his dopey daughters were not present, so their support has been little to nothing, and all they seem to be doing is going on yet another publicity tour for themselves, with tasteless Tamara, tepid Tamara, going to the Winter Wonderland and thinking that she's some kind of supermodel. The other one is living it up in LA and being a complete pest also alongside the man who she's now involved with. So I don't have anything positive to say about them, but my poll has already had 94 votes with 14 hours left. It's not my biggest poll ever. The polls I do on Me Gain and Omid Scobie tend to get a lot more, but I asked the answers N, no, which is no, he should be tagged. I've had 9.6% agree to that thus far. Yes, coffin dodging japes, i.e. he's just having fun and he should be allowed to get away with it, 5.3%. And no, he should be in the clink, i.e. the jail, 85.1%. So please do vote in our poll. That would be something good. I will provide you with the link yet again. So please vote in the poll. I was just horrified that this man can get away with this whilst, this diminutive dwarf actually is what I should call him. He should be on the Bibby Stockholm. That's where he belongs. Whilst little old ladies get locked up for not paying their TV license. This is a shocking state of affairs. Anyway, we shall move on to something a bit more pleasant, and that is the matter of the last of the summer wine. I don't know if you remember this program, Compo. And one of our followers put this on his Facebook, and I was alerted to a little article from the BBC about Bill Owen, who, of course, played Compo in Last of the Summer Wine, which was the longest-running sitcom in the world. It made its TV debut in 1973 and had peak viewing figures of up to 20 million viewers in the 1970s. The exploits of three elderly friends, and they are auctioning off the costume of Compo for between £3,000 and £5,000 at East Bristol auctions. I note that they sold a bicycle from the same program, which the naughty old lovers used to go around on, a tandem or a pair of bicycles. The pair of them used to go around for just £500, but that was quite a long time ago in 2014. So I was very interested to learn that each costume for Compo, which he used to put the ferrets down his trousers, and each costume had to be handmade by Savile Row tailors and had to be made to look like they were completely trashed, like they were fit for the bin. So, these things are not particularly wearable, but they are iconic pieces of comedy history. So, Claudia asks, has I visited where it was filmed? Yes, I've visited Holmfirth in Yorkshire, and I've even visited a vineyard that some people opened there, which came much later than they were around. Otherwise, they would have definitely been hanging out there. But they had the wonderful characters like Nora Batty, who was a little bit of a battle axe, and they had the wonderful Compo with the ferrets down his trousers. And it turned out that the costume does not include his Wellington boots, because the wellies were placed on his grave and filled with flowers in Holmfirth, where he has been buried. So there you go. So if you're interested in bidding, you can have a look at this article, and maybe you might want to. I can't provide the article because the link is too long, unfortunately. So unfortunately, I don't think I can provide it unless I try it another way. I'm not very good at this kind of thing, but I think it probably won't work as a link. But if you do a Google, it does work. Right, so there you go. So if you're after a fun gift for Christmas and you've got 3,000 to 5,000 to spend, you could get it for less. It goes under the hammer at East Bristol auctions on the 8th of December. So that's the Compo thing, the Compo costume. So moving along, we shall talk about the probable moron of the moment, who has often been a moron of the moment in my life through my encounters with him, Richard Madeley, the husband of Judy Finnegan. Now, Richard Madeley got a little bit worked up after he had his mobile phone stolen, his iPhone. The 67-year-old was tricked in a pub, in his local pub. Now, I don't wish anyone to have things stolen from them. There is no need for that. There is no need at all for any of that kind of activity. But Richard Madeley is a truly unpleasant piece of toe rag, and he decided to write in The Spectator that he wanted to see the perpetrator hanged. He said, I've always been against capital punishment, but after the week I've had, I'm making an exception. Detailing the incident, Madeley added, I was in my local when a weird-looking guy shambling around the bar slammed a dog-eared magazine down on my table and demanded I buy it. When I refused, he swept it back again and wandered off. 5 minutes later, I realized he'd smuggled my phone away underneath the magazine. Um, he he really is an absolute hypocrite, given the fact that, in the past, remember the incident with him and a bit of alleged shoplifting. This man has been accused himself of helping himself to champagne and coffee in supermarkets on more than one occasion. He was accused on one occasion live on air on This Morning. Now, he was never convicted of this, but he was never cleared of this. But he even had a conversation once with Bill Clinton, and he on one of his programs, and he said, "I know what it's like to be wronged by the press. I was once accused of shoplifting. Unlike you, though, I knew I was innocent." This is how arrogant this man is. He went to school with Spreadsheet Philip Hammond, the former chancellor. He has been compared to being like Alan Partridge, and the dreadful statue that Prince Harry and Prince William unveiled of the late Diana, Princess of Wales. He has been compared to looking like that. Now, this man has been accused of being a tea leaf, and now he wants a thief hanged. So what does he want done with himself if he's ever proven to be such? Anyway, this man, who I consider to be a bit like Dorian Gray, whilst his wife, who he referenced as calling mummy. Right. Sorry, I just have to remove somebody. Hide this user. We will not be tolerating any pests here, so yet another one has been thrown out. Goodbye, you are the weakest link. I won't be mentioning your name because you don't deserve any publicity. Anyway, the boob-flashing Judy Finnegan, who made a fool of herself at the television awards, and he didn't even bother to do anything to help her put back her dress. This man is utterly awful, utterly reprehensible, revolting, and so pompous, and he used to refer to his own wife as mummy, and she looks more like granny, and she does seem to have a little bit of a problem, but we won't go there. But I have regularly written about this moron, but I call him the king of cringe. Now, I can give some examples of other things that this village idiot has come out with. He said of his daughter, "Sorry, Chloe, but you are an accident and you know it. How charming." To a member of the victorious England 2022 Lioness team named Chloe Kelly. "Chloe, or Coco, as I call my daughter. Coco, thank you very much. Thanks for coming in. Right, now it's competition time. We've got another one." He is so rude. To a male weatherman of his daughter, he said, "My daughter fancies you, by the way." How embarrassing for his daughter. And his daughter's having a few problems of her own with her husband, and we happen to note. Of daubing himself in fake tan and turning a shade of mahogany once. He said, "What happened was at 3 a.m. I put my daughter's fake tan on. I wanted to be Donald Trump." Of going commando, he said, "I don't wear underwear. 30% of blokes don't wear underwear. It's not mad." Whilst on the lavatory squatting, he said, "You're not filming me urinating. You can listen." The man is quite bizarre. To an actor who was playing a bisexual, "Would you prefer to have sex with me or Judy?" Of his and Judy Finnegan's sexual activities. "When we were trying to conceive, I would douse my private parts," I shall replace the word, "in icy water before intercourse." And then he said to his wife, "Remember when you had thrushed Judy? You had a terrible time of it." And on Viagra, he said, "It makes everything much longer and returns, swiftly." Of sex on television, "I don't think what we see on television is erotic enough." Of women, "I've never met a single woman who's happy with the way she looks, except Jordan, although I've never met her." of other women. Women lie about sex. It doesn't matter how many partners she says she's had before you. She's lying. Of the mucky madam, Ghislaine Maxwell. The sharks are circling. They smell blood in the water. This is before she was convicted. Cynics would say the FBI agency is playing a long game, seeking to sway the minds of jurors in advance of Maxwell's trial next year. Innocent until proven guilty. That honourable credo is in shreds. Firstly, consider the conditions under which Miss Maxwell is being held. They are truly grim. It would take a heart of stone not to feel empathy for another human being suffering what amounts to mental torture. To coin a phrase, you would not treat a dog like that. Well, Ghislaine treated her victims like that, so, shame on Mr. Madeley. And I regularly share these quotes because the world needs to hear them. This man is ridiculous. He continued of Maxwell. It's not sadism or premature punishment ahead of a verdict. No, there's a calculated purpose behind this pitiless regime. But here's another prediction. It will. They're trying to break her. Well, he got that wrong, because she's still not named a single name, and shame on her and shame on him. And then he turned to elephants, lovely, beautiful elephants. And you all know that I love elephants and giraffes. Now, this person has tried to come back yet again. Right. You're gone again. Get out. Annoying people have no place here. Of elephants, he said, so are you telling me elephants are not born evil? I have never come across an elephant that is evil. I think humans are more likely to be evil. They're more likely to do things. After a woman remortgaged her house to fund treatment for her dog, he said, is there a point where you just say, too expensive, the dog has to die? How heartless. To a man crying after paramedics saved his life. Stop crying. This is supposed to make you happy. Anyway, after the break, the biggest dog in the UK. And is he really big? Don't miss it. Showing sympathy for people who died in the quicksand in Morecambe Bay, the poor Chinese people. Yes, what an awful way to die. Next. Unassisted suicide. At that point where you just need a little push to go over the edge. I wouldn't give a 2-penny F***K if there was a risk of being prosecuted. I won't repeat what he has to say about coronavirus. Of Qatar, he said, with men, when we get to Qatar, we have it up, like Leo on the Titanic. Judy swallows her phlegm. Of old women skipping, there's not many better things than seeing an older woman skipping. Of wanting to be black, he said, I hope when I'm reincarnated, I come back black because you age better. To actress Keira Knightley, he said, can we get some makeup, please? Get Keira looking like a crack whore. She'd make a good crack whore. To singer Sophie Ellis Bextor, where did you get your face? To mind reader Darren Brown, can we have petroleum and a rope? We are burning you at the end of the show. To Sex Pistols singer, songwriter John Lydon, if we could throw a fishing rod into the corridors of time and reel you in, you'd throttle you, wouldn't you? To the gay Pet Shop Boys singer Neil Tennant, how's your wife? To a novelist, if you were going to write an autobiography, who would it be about? Of the troubled footballer Paul Gascoigne, he suffers for us. He bears our pain in the most public possible ways. Perhaps this has always been Paul Gascoigne's destiny. To a psychiatric patient, so Jane, when did you first realize you were clearly mad? To a group of dwarves, do you find that people patronize you? That means that they talk down to you. Of an autistic teenager, the thing with Daniel Wakeford, a star on Channel 4's Undateables, is he has autism, but he's very intelligent and, as we can see, extremely talented. Has Daniel always been autistic? To an anorexic teenager, 5 stone, well, that's concentration camp thin, that is. To a caller, I understand you have a little lad of 12. Is it a boy or a girl? And finally, and most insensitively, to a young child with leukemia, hello, Baldy. This man is truly revolting. And now you've heard me read out my own quotes that I have spent years compiling of him. So anyway, the nasty nuisance is continuing to try and come back, and I will continue to get rid of him. He is truly awful. But thank you very much to all of you for joining in. And right, whoever you are, you'll be next if you continue to talk about this person that we don't welcome here. So you'll be blasted off next. So I will not be tolerating any more nonsense. Anyway, I will talk of another topic now, which is a program that I've watched over the last 2 days. I was told by one person I know to watch it because they thought I would find it, quite frankly, curious. They thought I would either love it or hate it. It's a Marmite program, and the reviews have been Marmite for it also. It's called The Couple Next Door. It's a 6-part thriller television series written by someone called David Allison, based on the Dutch series Now Neighbours. Sorry, New Neighbours, not Neighbours, neighbours down under. Everyone loves good neighbours. These were the kind of neighbours that you would definitely not love to have as neighbours. It's a genre of psychological thriller, according to its promotional material. And it's about a couple who moved to the suburbs. Now, the suburbs in this program, I've no idea where they will film this, but the whole thing just did not make sense to me. So I have to say, this program stars some quite good people. So we have Eleanor Tomlinson, who was in Poldark, Sam Hewham, who was in Outlander, Alfred Enoch, who was in How to Get Away with Murder and Harry Potter, Hugh Dennis of Mock the Week, amongst others. It features crime, it features passion, it features sex, it features swinging in Anthea Turner style into action. Lots of things going on, lots of different things. A bit of Anth always gets people going. It's got suburbia, it's got northern England, which is where it is supposedly based. The village in the north of England looks genuine to me, but the housing estate looks like it could be in suburban Australia. It does not look like a northern English suburb to me. I thought the housing estate was quite curious. I thought one of the actresses who had an Australian accent was beyond curious, because no one explained how she ended up in this suburban northern housing estate. Death and destruction and religion. It is a crazy series. The plot is very far-fetched, in my opinion. They tried to pack too much in. So I wouldn't urge you to waste too much of your time going into this, but it is enjoyable. And as the Anita Singh of the Daily Telegraph said, it is nonsensical, it is ridiculous, and it's very bingeable. Now, I would agree with that. I watched it over 2 nights, all 6 episodes, and I don't normally watch things like that. I normally read books, but Carol Midgley of the Times could not stand it and said it was cliched. Lucy Mangan of The Guardian said it's sexy rather than cringeworthy. Now, I don't know if any of you have watched this, but I have to say it's not high on my agenda of things to watch ever again. It will never be watched again. It was too ridiculous for words. But I shall be going to watch the film Saltburn in the coming days, because it is showing in the local cinema here in the Palace Cinema Broadstairs, which is where they filmed The Lady in the Van. And it's run a lovely local independent cinema where you can go in the afternoon, and it's £6 a ticket. Absolutely delightful. And you can take your own wine, even, because they don't have a license in the afternoon, but you can go in the evening and they will sell you wine. Anyway, it's a wonderful seaside cinema right next to the harbour here in Broadstairs, and it's a lovely thing. Um, is Napoleon coming on soon? I think Napoleon has already been played in a lot of places, but I haven't seen Napoleon. Um, but Andrew Roberts, the historian, has nothing but bad to say about it. Um, I don't know if anyone who has seen it likes it, because from what I gather, most people I know have told me, including the wife of John Simpson, that it is ridiculous. So no, I don't think we shall be bothering with that. I'm sure many people will enjoy it, but if you view it in a historical concept context, you will probably realize that it's probably completely ridiculous. So my next little recommendation to you, I was thinking, what could I recommend? And it's a tiny little book, as you can see. Compared to the size of my glass, it's very small. And this was kindly given to me for my birthday back in January by a friend of mine who's very involved in the Christopher Marlowe Society, but he's also very interested in Agatha Christie. And this book is called Agatha Christie's Miss Marple, The Complete Novels in One Sitting. So it's a basic little summary. It's quite fun. And it's a small little book, and it's published by the Running Press Miniature Edition, 2014. So I don't know where you can buy it, but I'm sure you can buy it somewhere online. I would recommend it as something quite enjoyable, as just a little bit of a light read, and it's got 304 pages, but they're very small pages. So it will probably take you, well, I don't know how speedy you are as readers, but I would say an hour and a half maximum to work your way through that. So I thought that would be a nice little recommendation. If you're looking for something for your stocking fillers for Christmas, given it's the 1st of December, I don't really get involved in Christmas at this stage. That could be quite a fun thing just to throw in as an extra. Anyway, right, so we've done that, and we've done Richard Madeley. Right, so we've done the Compo costume, we've done Bernie Eccleston. The next one to talk about is the dreaded Sir James Dyson, the Brexiteer who has lost his libel claim against the Mirror. Now, Sir James Dyson is a very intelligent man, and I have met his wife, Lady Dyson, Deirdre, who makes carpets. And, he's done a lot of good in the world, but he decided to sue the Mirror newspaper because he championed the vote leave and then moved his global head office to Singapore, and the Mirror wrote about this. And Mr. Justice Reed, Mr. Reed's article was Mr. Justice J, said the article was simply an honest opinion. So Sir James Dyson has lost his libel case, and the Financial Times did a very interesting article analysing this. His support for Brexit was an honest opinion. He objected to being branded a hypocrite. Paulie writes here that he does not like Dyson's Miele or superior vacuum cleaners. There we go. Kaz likes her shark, but admits she would always want a Dyson. Bambi says it will break after a year. David is not in the vicinity. No, we don't have David here today. We did not have David yesterday or today. I don't know when David will return, but David will return at some point. as will other people. Our lovely friend, Jono, is in Australia, so he won't be returning for many months. So we won't be getting him as a helper, unfortunately. And um, the lovely Min is in South Africa, so we won't be getting her for many months. People tend to go away for the winter. So there we are. Mother Duck says, I've had a Dyson that I use several times a week for at least 2 years. Min is not currently sleeping. She is in South Africa. She is nowhere near here. Bambi has said, I've had 3 Dysons now. That's it. No more. There we go. Anyway, Bobby says, the problem with Dysons is they suck. Oh dear. Well, this man, Sir James Dyson, I used to know of him when he had an office round the corner from my local pub in the border of Chelsea and Knightsbridge, the Admiral Codrington, which was a favourite of Diana, Princess of Wales, and he was quite a brilliant industrialist and entrepreneur and businessman. He's done very, very well, but he relocated his corporate headquarters from Wiltshire to Singapore. It rather suited him for commercial reasons. All its manufacturing operations were in Asia. But this man, Mirror journalist Brian Reed, wrote that the Magnet had championed vote leave due to the economic opportunities it would bring British industry, and then he moved his global head office to Singapore. In other words, kids, talk the talk, then screw your country, and if anyone complains, tell them to suck it up. A bit like his Hoovers, really. There we go. The person called David who is here is a different David, I think. It's not the same one. Anyway, he has not suffered financial loss as a result of the publication, nor has his philanthropic work been harmed. MGN said it, which is the owner of the Mirror, said it welcomed the judgment which upholds the rights of our columnist to share honestly held opinions, even about powerful or wealthy individuals. Now, this is the point that I wish to discuss, which is it doesn't matter if you're rich. You shouldn't be treated differently. As we've said earlier about the convicted criminal fraudster, coffin dodger, Bernie Ecclestone, why has he been treated differently to a little old lady who doesn't pay her television license, who gets thrown in jail when he committed a £400 million fraud? This is an example with this man, Sir James Dyson, where he thought that he could bully people because he's a billionaire. Now, Sir James Dyson should not be treated any differently to anyone else, and well done to the Mirror Group, newspapers, and their journalist for standing up against this ridiculousness. So I salute the judgment of Mr. Justice J. He definitely did a very good thing in finding against Sir James Dyson. I do not have a personal vendetta against Sir James Dyson, but, I think his vote leave hypocrisy is completely ridiculous when he immediately moves out all his organization into other locations to suit his financial benefits. Now, it is within anyone's right to do whatever they want as long as it's within the law, and no one is suggesting that Sir James Dyson has done anything wrong or illegal, but this article did nothing to defame his character, so I think it should be left at that. So that's him dealt with. Now on to the next moron of the moment. The next moron is 30p Lee. Now 30p Lee is someone I don't have much time for. As you probably know, I have had a long-standing row myself with 30p Lee's little frenemy. I don't know whether they could be called that. A woman, well, sorry, I don't know if we're allowed to call her a woman. I don't know what we're allowed to call this person. Jack Monroe. And they nearly went to court with one another, but nothing seems to be happening on that front. I don't like either of them. I wrote an article in May this year, in which I suggested that Gobby Munro v. Gobby Anderson, they deserve one another, basically. These two are both appalling people. So I don't like Lee Anderson, MP, the man who said that, people should live on 30p a week. Should be able to make food for 30p. How ridiculous. The man is completely off his rocker, but so is this Jack Monroe. Now, this ridiculous man, Lee Anderson, who was the deputy Tory party chair, I'm not sure if he may still be this position. I'm not sure if he is. He's a rather grifting, sort of annoying man who has rows with Mr. Stop Brexit, Steve Bray, rather a lot, and there have been rather a lot of things with the two of them. Now, 30p Lee has been all over the place politically over the years. He was involved with Labour, he's been Conservative, and recently he claims that the Richard Tice party have tried to pay him to come over to them. He hasn't been able to prove that they offered him that, and they claim that they never offered to pay him such. So whether that is true or not, I have no idea. But now, and he obviously is still, well, he recently, as the 23rd of November, he was still deputy chairman of the Conservative Party, but today the situation has changed with this. But he suggested that asylum seekers could be held on Orkney if the Rwanda plan fails. Now, he's been known for very controversial statements, and he's often on GB News having his pints of beer with his bizarre friends, and they are truly bizarre. He is somebody who comes out with a load of nonsense. But Labour MP Sir George Howarth asked on the 23rd of November Commons leader Penny Mordaunt whether the suggestion was serious, and her response was, to this, I'm very happy to knock that one on the head. That is not an alternative to Rwanda, nor are various other places that have been mentioned, including the Orkney Islands, after suggestions were made of the Falkland Islands also. Mr. Anderson said it was a nice Scottish island with a few outbuildings. It'd be suitable for people seeking asylum. Well, that's not very helpful to people who live there, and it's not very helpful to refugees. It's not very helpful to anyone. He said, this is a beautiful country. Parts of Scotland are a go-to destination, the remote islands. I'd like to be able to afford a place up there. Well, with his £100,000 GB News salary, he could easily afford a place up there. So there we go. He said, if we can find an island in the Orkneys or up there that's got no one on it to start off with, put some decent accommodation on, then it's job done. So basically, this nasty man came out with this nonsense, and he got a lot of criticism from the local Liberal Democrat MP, who is called Alistair Carmichael, who said, I would be astonished if Lee Anderson could even find Orkney, or in his words, the Orkneys on a map. His remarks show inhumanity towards desperate and vulnerable people and disdain towards island communities to boot. Anderson has formed for brainstorming Tory policy live on air. Obviously, this is a novel sort of brainstorming, as it does not actually involve the engagement of a brain, but instead looks more like an exercise in corralling as many prejudices as possible into one space and calling it a policy. He said the comments are an attempt to kick up dust and distract attention from the complete failure of this government to manage our asylum and immigration system. Now, this has been followed up today by an offer which has been referred to in the London Economic, which is another publication. The European Movement chair, Mike Galsworthy, who I've met in just next to the Houses of Parliament with Mr. Stop Brexit, Steve Bray, has led offers to fund a one-way ticket to Orkney after Lee Anderson pledged to relocate to the Scottish archipelago if the UK reverses Brexit. So he's been asked if what we should do, and they're saying they're going to do crowdfunding to send him there. That's what they want to do. So a bit of crowdfunding to send 30p Lee off to the Orkney Islands. I would say no. I don't think that's a very good idea. Let's just put Lee Anderson on the Bibby Stockholm. He is a truly reprehensible ratbag, and he belongs on the Bibby Stockholm. This man makes, as one person, Trevor says, makes you ashamed to be British. Melissa says, give him 30p. Joe McIntyre adds, Lee doesn't have a brain. Pennine County's adds, he could not find his own arse on a map. I totally agree. There we are. A vile snake he is, adds busted. Well, I say cheers to putting him on the Bibby Stockholm. Yes, Julie Clark says, get him on the Bibby. So that is him dealt with. And now we're at 41 minutes. Now, we haven't even reached Omid Scobie yet, but before we do, the old Scooby-Doo, I will talk about a lovely gentleman called Philip Hewitt Jabbour, who was the chairman of a wonderful art festival called Masterpiece, which I attended for many, many years in London. Firstly at the barracks, and then it moved to the Royal Hospital, Chelsea. It was one of the most lovely events of the year in London, and it ran for a number of years, and it featured the best of art from around the world. It had restaurants like Scott's, and it was absolutely delightful to wander around. People came from all over the world and exhibited wonderful works of art, but it sadly ended because of Brexit. Also, because the art dealers couldn't afford to bring things in because of the stupid import charges and the costs of doing it, and also coronavirus. So now it is no more. But Mr. Hewitt Jabbour tragically died unexpectedly. And now on the 8th of February 2024, Christie's in London will be auctioning his collection. So he ran Masterpiece from 2012 to 2022. The auction will include 200 lots with an estimate of I think it's about £1.5 million in total. But there are items starting at £700 going up to rather a lot. So he had collected all sorts of amazing things from Egypt. He had things to do with William Beckford, who I used to stay on the estate where he built all his bizarre grottos in Wiltshire, the Fonthill Abbey auction of 1823. Mr. Hewitt Jabbour had rather a lot of the items from that very auction. It was this place, Fonthill Abbey, was a sort of folly that fell down, but the Beckford Tower Trust, and he was very interested in things like that. Another one called Thomas Hope. He had all sorts of amazing items, antiquities, and this will be a fascinating auction. So here is a link for you if you wish to learn more about Philip Hewitt Jabor, sorry, and his collection, which will be auctioned in London on the 8th of February 2024. So there's lots of fascinating items, and I love learning about things like that. And I think Philip will be somebody who is missed by many. He was always a gentleman and delight to talk to, and I enjoyed his company, and he was a very nice gentleman. So there we go. There's another story. So, and finally, before we go on to our quiz, if Harriet is willing to do the quiz, Omid Scobie. Scobie has yet again excelled himself. Trevor Phillips, who himself has been quite an outspoken person in the past about racism and issues of such concerning people in our nation. He has decided to condemn Omid Scobie's stupid remarks. I thought that was very telling. Scobie has crossed the line. Scooby-Doo has really been made a fool of himself. He is worse than the village idiot. He should learn his lesson. Now, Twitter users have written to me today talking about the Treason Act, 1351, 1702, and 1703. They think that Prince Harry and Meghan and him should be charged under that. Now, I think that is a highly unlikely thing to occur, but there we go. People are thrashing around with all sorts of anger against this damned stupid book and the pathetic way in which this blabbermouth plastic pillock has been whinging and whining about how he's the victim in this story. So Scobie has been criticized by my good friend, who I like very much, Richard Kay. Now, Richard said, of the two royals who have been wrongfully accused, perhaps the two royals will do no such thing, i.e. not sue, and instead Harry and Meghan will do the suing. Certainly, that is a suggestion of the media lawyer Mark Stevens, who says they may have a case against Scobie for breach of privacy. The names are said to have come from private correspondence between Charles and his daughter-in-law. It would, he says, have a twin purpose, preventing him or anyone else from repeating information that should never have seen the light of day, and as a demonstration of goodwill, it could be the great rapprochement. But judging by their silence, not just on the Scobie book, but on the whole racism claim, it seems highly unlikely. Not since raising the matter with Oprah in 2021 have the couple returned to the subject. It did not feature in Harry's memoir nor in the 6-part Netflix series about their lives. What might concern them, though, is who leaked the correspondence, or at least its contents, to Scobie. A Palace insider described the possibility that a leak came from within the royal household as vanishingly unlikely. That leaves the Sussex circle, although they would deny any involvement in any leaks. It is also possible that Scobie has known of the letters and their contents for some time. It is, of course, unlikely that for all their good intentions, any palace inquiry will go to the bottom of the mystery. And it is why those close to the named royals are angry on their behalf at what they have see as the way their good intentions have been twisted. Taking delight about the colour of mixed-race children is not racist, but demonstrating curiosity, one source told me. This is to Richard Kay. Had Harry married a blonde English girl, there would have been similarly speculation about whether any children would have his red hair or take after his wife. I think that is a very relevant article, and I urge you to read it. So, Richard Kay is a man who talks great sense. I've known him for quite a few years. He is someone who knew Diana, Princess of Wales, very well. And meanwhile, today, my friend John Sweeney, I don't know him very well, but a man who I spoke with, at the Crime Con festival, about Ghislaine Maxwell. He is currently with Major James Hewitt, of all people, and he's delivering aid to refugees in Ukraine. He's delivering them medical aid and gifts for Christmas for the children there who have got forgotten in all of the other wars and that are going on in the world, and so sadly are forgotten. So John Sweeney is doing a fantastic job. I don't know how him and, given he's quite left-wing, and Major Hewitt are getting along, but I've got plenty of stories about myself and Major Hewitt, as he refers to him, from many, many years ago when I was in my 20s. But I haven't seen him in very long, but I sent them a message of best wishes because it's freezing cold there, and they're doing a lot of good for people who are suffering. Whether you support that war or you are against that war, humanitarian efforts are a good thing in all places and should be remembered also in other regions where there are currently conflict, but we won't be going into that tonight. But now we shall do our little quiz. Now, I will choose a random page of a particular book. I'm not telling you which book it is, so I do have different books. I'm sorry to the people who preferred the Weakest Link book. I'm sorry I don't have any more of those. If anyone out there has any Weakest Link quiz books, you're very welcome to send them to the magnet. Please send the Weakest Link other books, not the one I've already got. But if there are others, it would be wonderful to have them, because you all seem to love the Weakest Link quiz more than you do the other quizzes. But these other quizzes are quite good too. So variety is the spice of life, as they say. So cheers to whoever wins. Good luck to you all, and thank you very much to all who keep sending me items to the magnet in Broadstairs. The staff and customers are delighted to receive things, and they thank you all for the kind things you've sent. Also, we've had a lovely afternoon or two sharing some of these items, and we are ready to go with our quiz. But we thank you all. So if anyone has a Weakest Link quiz book you don't want, you know where to send it. Right. So this is an easy question to start you off. Horses are measured in hands. How many inches are there in a hand? Anna Perkins is the winner chicken dinner with 4 straight away in. First answer is the winner. Dale Gribble, question number 2. Dale Gribble is a character in which cartoon series? Nope. Nobody seems to know. The answer is, the winner is Paulie with King of the Hill. Well done to Paulie. Paulie gets the point. Question number 3. Is at least 7 women were reported to have committed suicide due to the death of which silent movie star in 1926? And the winner is Bambi Debonair with Rudolph Valentino. Rudolph Valentino is the answer. Question number 4. What is the chemical symbol for the element manganese? The answer is Pennine Counties gets the point with MN. It is not MG. Magnesium is Mg and M is unused. So that is the answer. That is the point winner. Right. The name of the Arctic is derived from the Greek word for which animal? Hey Tigers wins with a bear. Well done to Hey Tigers. Hey Tigers. There you are. You've got to keep bearing up. Right. The next question. The lateral sulcus or Sylvanian fissure is part of which organ of the body? It's not a wood, no. It's not the heart, it's not the liver, it's not the kidney, it's not the stomach. Paulie gets the point with brain. Well done, Paulie. Right, Paulie is doing rather well here, I think. In the game of Battleship, 5 hits are required to destroy which type of craft? 5 hits. Which one do you have to hit 5 times? It's not a cruiser. It's not a frigate. It's not a submarine. But it is an aircraft carrier. So Anna Perkins gets the point. You are all rather quick with your fingers tonight. I don't know whether you are just very brainy or whatever else. In 1968, who became the first English team to win football's European Cup? It wasn't Liverpool or Arsenal, but it was Manchester United. So well done to Paulie. Well done, Paulie. Yet again, Paulie is storming ahead, I would think. Winston Churchill described which country as a riddle wrapped in a mystery inside an enigma? It wasn't India, it wasn't France, it wasn't China, it wasn't Africa, because Africa isn't a country, Pennine Counties. It wasn't Italy or Scotland, and Joe McIntyre wins the point. Well done to Joe McIntyre. The answer is Russia. You are the strongest link. Right. In 2001, Warsaw International Airport was named for which composer? It was not Anthea Turner. She's not a composer. She might swing into action, but Busted gets the point with Chopin. Busted is the winner. Anthea Turner will probably never have an airport named after her. You know, George Best managed one, but I don't think Anthea's quite up there. So, no, there won't be an Anthea Turner or a Lizzie Cundy or a Katie Price airport, I don't think, ever. And thank God for that. Right. Question 11. Timothy Dalton played the part of James Bond in which 2 movies? I need the names of both films. If you give one, you don't get the point. We need both names of both. We need the names of both films, please. Thank you. It was not 007. And that's only one. Right. Well, Busted gets half of it, but not the other half. So we have to wait. Hey Tigers only gives 1, and that wasn't enough. Philippa talks utter gibberish by bringing up Wuthering Heights. You're clearly bonkers. Rama Frog gets it wrong. No, we're not doing very well here. Nope. 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 None of you seem to be able to get both of them. Nope. You're all incorrect so far. Nope. Nope. I'm sorry to say it, you are all the weakest links. Apart from David. David has won with The Living Daylights and License to Kill. It was not GoldenEye, which many of you came up with. David gets the point. Right. The next question. Saltwater, quincana, and Orinoco are all types of which animal? They're not fish. They're not whales. They're not bears. Daniel Fern gets the point, a new entrant with crocodile. Well done to Daniel Fern, a new entrant. Thank you, Daniel Fern. Right. Question 13. In which iconic London building is the Whispering Gallery located? The Whispering Gallery. It is not called Anthea Turner. No, Anth is not an art gallery. She may be many things and she swings into action, but she is not somebody. She's very good with a bottle of bleach. She's very good with a bit of cleaning and, very good with a Cadbury's flake, but she's not very good at being an art gallery. No. So the winner is with St. Paul's Cathedral. The first one to bring up St. Paul's was Claudia. Well done to Claudia. Claudia gets the point. Excellent, Claudia. Right. Question 14. Before becoming president himself, Joe Biden served twice as vice president to whom? If you don't get this, you are completely ridiculous. Hey Tigers gets the point with Obama. Hey Tigers wins. President Obama, of course. So, right. Dana International, the 1998 Eurovision Song Contest winner, represented which country? The winner is Paulie with Israel. Israel. It is not Ireland and it's not Italy or Uganda. No. We do get some very strange answers here. I think some of you are just trying to wind up others with very odd responses, but we don't mind a bit of fun, but you'll never be the strongest link if you make a mockery of the system. Right. Kigali is the capital of which African country? Claudia wins the point with Rwanda. Well done to Claudia. Right, next question. Which 1994 James Cameron film was the first Hollywood film to ever have a $100 million budget? It wasn't Titanic or Jaws. It was True Lies, and the first one to guess it was Paulie. Well done to Paulie. Paulie gets yet another point. What color are the black boxes on commercial aircraft? And this is so that they are easier to find. The winner with orange is Bambi Debonair. Well done to Bambi Debonair. Question 19. Reportedly, which musician once said, "I like Beethoven, especially the poems"? It was not Mozart. It wasn't Ozzy Osbourne, and it wasn't Elton John, or David Bowie, or Alfie Boer, or Ted Robbins. It wasn't Tchaikovsky or Boy George, but we don't like him. It wasn't Pete Doherty. He's quite a good musician, but he's completely mad. It wasn't John Lennon. It wasn't Anthea's Bucket. It wasn't Liberace. It wasn't Elvis, but Chili Kareen gets the point with Ringo Starr. Well done to Chili Kareen. Well done. And your final question. O'Hare International Airport is located in which American city? The winner is Bambi Debonair with Chicago. And to all of you complaining, stop complaining about the order you get your points, because the order is the order I see it on my screen. If you don't like it, you don't have to join in. That is enough. I will be the angry schoolmaster about this. I will not tolerate such nonsense anymore. You have to just tolerate the order it comes up on the screen. I am not going to be cheating here, because I only look at it in the order it comes in. So thank you very much for your participation. We love your participation. It is wonderful, but no moaning. The moaning and groaning has to stop. Who do you think you are? Keir Bloody Starmer? Seriously, enough is enough. Cease the whinging. Whinging and whining is not getting you anywhere. Right, Paulie is the winner. Paulie has done very well again and has won this quiz. But many of you have done very well also by participating and joining in. But that does not make you the strongest link, because Paulie answered more questions than you did, but better, quicker than you did. So anyway, congratulations to Paulie, and thank you to everyone else for participating. It has been a lovely episode and delightful to join in with all of you. And I thank you all for your involvement. It's been great. So we've spoken about all manner of other things. And tonight I will say, please enjoy the rest of your Friday evening. I shall be going to bed myself shortly. Please sleep well, but do not have nightmares, as the late, great Jill Dando once said. But don't have nightmares about Omid Scobie and Meghan in particular, or Bernard Eccleston, the convicted criminal fraudster coffin dodger. So please take care and have a lovely evening, and I hope you have a wonderful Saturday. And I will hopefully see you tomorrow after I've had lunch with two of our followers. Allegedly, if they are going to arrive, I will be having lunch with two of them. So that will be an interesting encounter. And maybe they may even stay and join in. So we could have guests tomorrow. But this is a household where we welcome guests and we go fishing. So please take care, sleep well, have a lovely evening. Thank you very much to you all, and cheers to every one of you. Thank you to all the lovely people out there.